Good evening, ladies. Mr. Tushar Srivastav, who has been patiently waiting for his turn. After understanding ways and methods in which high rises can be made sustainable, it is also necessary to understand the challenges involved in executing sustainable projects so that one can be better prepared. And to talk more about it today, we have with us Mr. Tushar Srivastav. A trained civil engineer, Tushar Srivastav also holds a post graduation in construction management and financial engineering. In 2010, he was elected as the senior professional member of the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, UK, specializing in management consulting. As the president and corporate head, business development and marketing at Capacity Infra Projects Limited, he is responsible for leading the business development and strategy for the group on a pan India basis. Tushar has been a key player in ensuring capacities acquisition and involvement in large value projects. So let's welcome Mr. Tushar Srivastav.
Let me begin by reading a very interesting foreword that you had sent along with the flyers that you made for this session. I'm just reiterating it once again. High rise is more than a new age dwelling, symbol of status, opulence, power. People mostly tend to stay indoors, and it also creates a microclimate within itself. So sustainability, this is my third session that I am being invited as a panelist for the sustainable discussions. And what I've observed is that collectively, all the stakeholders in this business of built environment, we frankly speaking do not understand what sustainable development is. Some interesting concepts by Mr. Roy about the biophilic design concepts, and some interesting architectural works done by Praveen. I really appreciate that. As far as capacity is concerned, we are currently one of the largest when it comes to high-rise and super high-rise construction in India. When I say high-rise and super high-rise, anything above 40 story, I would consider in that bracket. Now, we are a developing country, and there is a huge demand for housing. And for the knowledge of the audience and everyone, construction of buildings or creating a concrete environment is actually detrimental to the entire sustainability concept that we are talking about. There's ample number of literature available on the net which talks about sustainable construction. But as of now, my experience as far as our built environment, India is concerned, we are far behind. There are individual efforts by developers to come up with a sustainable project. But currently, sustainable development, or the word rather, is being used as a cost parameter rather than it being used as a catalyst in these kind of development. There are a lot of talks around the world of going, especially in case of tall high rises, to go in for a net zero energy utilization, by 2029. I don't know when we will be, getting into that particular field of, starting from the design to the construction. Now, when I talk about sustainable construction as a contractor, we come at the fag end of the entire value chain till the entire building is, handed over. So we have to, unfortunately, execute, whatever has been designed, perceived, and the requirements of the client. So I would say the sustainable development is more relevant to the design. It's more attributable to the design because it starts from that particular phase. A lot of studies have been done in order to minimize the carbon emission. When I talk about sustainability, the basic concept which comes to our mind, or rather we should all understand, is the carbon emission. All the elements which are used in building, say it is reinforcement, concrete, wood, or the vertical transportation, wherever energy is being consumed to construct a particular thing, that emits carbon dioxide. There have been, just for the information of the audience, 1 cubic meter production of concrete releases 4 kg per meter cube of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So there are steps, in the Indian construction industry context, where we have been very sensitive, especially on these three words, which is the environmental, social, and governance point of view. Environment is the direct environment where we are constructing as a contractor. Social is that how we are training our entire system to be sensitive to the sustainable development, and governance. Absolutely, we all know all the major construction industry are certified with the ISO standards, the environmental standards, environmental 14,000 management systems, and of course the OSHAs. So at Capacity, what we have done is, I'll just take you very quickly to what we have done. We are a pan-India player. We are present in all the sectors when it comes to, as I said at the start of my discussion, we are the largest contractors when it comes to high-rise and super high-rise. We are into commercial, ITES, healthcare, hospitality, townships, retail, data centers. We have worked with almost all the clientele across India. These are some of the landmarks that we've constructed, right from 190 meters to 279 meters. These are the Trump Towers in Lodha. This is almost 279 meters tall building constructed by us. Currently, we have handed over the project to the client. So very unique building, one of the most complex building under construction in India. In fact, constructed in India. Apart from the regular concrete and steel, there is a lot of structural steel works which are involved. You can see these diagonal bracings. So these are basically act as tie beam. It's more a kind of architectural plus structural. So the entire design, fabrication, erection and site has been done by us. Then we are doing the Piramal Mahalakshmi. This is again a tall high-rise 65-story tower. We are constructing Oberoi Garden City, again a cluster of 5 buildings, 65-story under construction. We've completed the Enigma project in Mulund for Oberoi. This is the tallest cluster of high-rises in Mumbai, 69-story in Borivali, in Malad. This is called Goddess Serenity. I'll do one thing. I'll quickly run you through the kind of projects we have done, and then I'll come and talk about what are the challenges, or rather what we have done, to support the sustainable cause on this project as a contractor. This is again a very boutique, bespoke apartments called as 25 South. Again a tall high-rise under construction. So here we are using a lot of these Recley formworks. These are form liners, which gives a profile to the concrete and it looks very architecturally pleasing. Then this is Paras Quartier. You can see the slab has been, this is a twisted building and it has been done with perfection. Then this is Raymond's Realty. These are 42-story, 52-story towers that we are constructing in Thane. Then this is the Saifi Burani Upliftment Trust. This is the most complex building, not from the methodology point of view, from the location point of view. It is just next to the JJ flyover, if you can see, and it's very, very new. So this entire building, lock and key, has been constructed by us, including the MEP works, firefighting. This is India's tallest residential building in structural steel. It is a composite building. This is, in fact, Asia's tallest residential building in structural steel. The building has been enveloped with a curtain wall. So the core of the building is going in RCC, and all the slabs are in structural steel works with a height of almost 3.8 meters clear height. Then this is W54 constructed. This is the one of the largest clusters in Thane, Lodha Splendora, constructed and handed over. So for us, it's all about buildings, and being present in Mumbai, you're all aware that it's a landlocked portion. So the only option that we have got is to go high. Okay, so that's where the actual challenge of sustainability comes. So when I talk about sustainability, what we have done as a contractor, as I told you, as a contractor, I have to produce what has been given to me by the architects and the developers. So I don't go ahead and submit my intent for the project, but I go ahead and execute what has been given to me. But in whatever bit I can help the environment, Now, when we talk about the sustainability, there are 3 main aspects that we need to keep into account: is the recycle and reuse of the material. And this is mostly attributable to the electricity, water, and the waste that we generate on the project sites during execution. So in whatever we do, I mean, last year statistics that I was talking about, the environment ESG principles that we adopt on all the project sites. So we have been able to reduce almost 3% of the diesel usage on all the project sites put together. This is from 2018 till 2017 till 2019. We have reduced almost 5% of the electricity consumptions that we have been using. So if we are, I would not say that we are there, but we are still on the learning curve, and we are doing our bit to reduce the usage of these materials, which again, wherever energy is involved, there is carbon dioxide emissions. And then we have almost reduced usage of 2 million liters of water across all our project sites. Now, what do we do as far as the execution is concerned? We are not using cement plaster, we are kind of using gypsum plaster. Now, that has been possible because we are using a lot of aluminium formwork. Now, aluminium, there is a huge amount of repetition when we talk about the aluminium formwork. So there is less usage of any wooden material. Wood, definitely you would cut the trees and produce the wooden batons or the laminates and the rest of the things. So the usage of the aluminium formwork has led to the reduction in the cement plaster. We are using gypsum plaster where the curing is not required. Hence, there is a saving in water. We are using all our project sites and all the labor camps to be with modular types of systems. Now, when the site is over and if you've done a temporary arrangement, for the staff and for the laborers, you have to break it. That goes into wastage. So there is a lot of wastage which is there. If I'm using prefabricated quota cabins, I have been able to reduce that kind of wastage. So that is again a very good, and from a cost point of view also it is very effective. We are using solar lighting panels wherever there is area lighting and all those things are there. We are using the sensor-based electricity fixtures and fittings so that there is it automatically switches off and there is no electricity usage. We have been, as I told you, we have been using the aluminium formwork, which has been a boom for all the, in fact, almost 95% of our projects, we are using aluminium formwork, or I would rather say system formwork. So there is less usage of the natural resources in terms of wood, mainly to say. So as far as capacity is concerned, we are moving, as I said, we are not still there, but we are making small steps to make the sustainable development, or the construction part at least, sustainable from our point of view. There is a collective need for all the stakeholders, right from the architects to the developers to the structural consultants, to realize this, okay, and to work towards sustainable development. There are a lot of things that we can do on the design part. Reduction in the slab thicknesses. As I told you, the 1 cubic meter of concrete production leads to 4 kg emission of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So by reduction in the elements like the slab thickness, increasing the reinforcement quantity, or doing alterations in terms of the column designing, there are studies, which have been done by the Indian students, where the 12% increase in the reinforcement, when the slab is reduced, has led to 29% reduction in the carbon dioxide emission into the atmosphere. So these are some of the things, that I would request the design fraternity to have a look at it and work towards it. So as far as I'm concerned, I have to follow what has been given to me. So, but in whatever way, developments or the construction I do my bit, but it involves participation from all the stakeholders in the industry. So that's it from my side.